Good day, everyone. I have come to understand that the majority of students do have problems with the verbs in English. So for that, I have come up with a topic known as understanding the English verbs. So the question is, what is a verb? A verb is a word or a phrase that expresses an action or an event or a state of being. It is the core part of a sentence that tells us what the subject, that is, a person or a thing, is, does, or expresses. Okay, fine. Having understood what the verb is, let's look at the different parts or the different types of verbs in English. Okay, fine. We have the verb is broadly divided into two parts: lexical verbs, which is also known as the main verbs, and the auxiliary verbs. Okay, fine. The lexical verbs or the main verb is subdivided into two categories again. We have the regular verbs and the irregular verbs. Under the regular verbs, we have the verb call, we have the verb cry, we have the verb smile, we have the verb bribe. Then, under the irregular verb, we have the verb eat, we have the verb run, we have the verb cut, and we have the verb pay. Okay, fine. The irregular verbs are those verbs that form their past tense and past participle by adding d or ed to them, while the irregular verbs are those verbs that do not form their past tense and past participle form by adding d or ed to them. Okay, fine. Then the other part of the word, the auxiliary verb, is subdivided into two parts. We have the primary auxiliary and the modal auxiliary. Okay, fine. Under the primary auxiliary verb, we have three verbs. We have the verb be, we have the verb have, and we have the verb do. Under the modal auxiliary, we have the verb shall, we have the verb should, we have the verb will, we have the verb would, we have the verb can, we have the verb could, we have the verb may, might, must, used to, ought, dare. Okay, fine. Apart from all these types of verb, we also have other types of verb. We have the word the finite and non-finite verb. Okay, we also have the transitive and intransitive verb. Okay, then apart from these other verbs, we also have the Copula verbs, Copula or linking verbs. And lastly, we have verbs and voice. Under these verbs and voice, we have the active voice and the passive voice. Okay, fine. We are going to take each of these types of verbs one after the other. Like I mentioned earlier, the lexical verb or main verb is divided into two main parts. The first part, regular lexical verbs or the irregular lexical verb. Okay, the question is, what is the regular verb? The regular verbs are those verbs that formed their past tense and past participle by adding d or ed to them, depending on the verb anyway. Okay, fine. Let's see some examples of the regular verbs. Okay, fine. But one thing we need to understand first is that verbs have 5 forms. Verbs have 5 forms. Here we have the verb here, which is known as the root verb. We have verb call. Here we have the present tense, we have the past tense, we have the past participle, and we have the present participle. The participle form of the verb is divided into two parts. There's what we call the past participle and there's what we call the present participle. The past participle are those verbs that end with ed under the regular verb or the d under the regular verb, where the present participle are those verbs that end with what? ing. Okay, fine. Let's see. The verb call in the present tense is divided into two parts. We have calls or call. Calls with s means what? Singular present, while call without s means plural present. Example, he calls them, they call them. Okay, past tense, we have the verb what? Called. That's the verb that takes ed or d now. We have the verb called. Then the past participle, we have what? Called. Then the present participle, we have what is called calling. For cry, we have cries or cry, singular present or plural present. Cries, singular present, cry, plural present. Then the past tense is cried. Then the past participle, cried. Then the present participle, crying. Smile, for present tense, we have smiles or smile, singular present and plural present. The past tense, smiled. The past participle, smiled. The present participle, smiling. Bribe, we have the present tense, bribes or bribe. He bribes, they bribe. Then we have past tense, bribed. We have the past participle, bribed. Then we have the present participle, bribing. Okay, fine. That's actually for the regular verb. Let's look at the irregular verb. For the irregular verbs, these are verbs that are actually what? That do not form their past tense and past participle by adding d or ed. Let's see. The irregular verb also have 5 forms like the regular verb. Okay, fine. Let's see. The root verb here, we have what? The verb eats. The present tense, we have eats or eats. Singular present, eats with s. Plural present, eat without s. For the past tense, it becomes eats. Past participle become eating. Present participle become what? Eating. Then we have the verb run. The present tense, we have runs as the singular present. We have the plural present, run. We have the past tense, ran. We have the past participle, run. We have the present participle, running. Then for the verb caught, we have the present, singular present as caught. We have the what? The plural present as caught. We have past tense caught. We have past participle caught. We have present participle cutting. Then the last here is the verb pay. We have the singular present pays. We have the plural present pay. Then the past tense is paid. The past participle is paid. Then the present participle is paying. Okay, let's take a review of the regular verb with regard to forming their past tense and past participle form by adding d or ed. So we are looking at the what? The past tense and the past participle. We have call, called, called. We have cried, cried, cried. We have smile, smiled, smiled. We have bribe, bribed, bribed. Okay, for the irregular verb, we have the past tense was ate. We have the past participle eating. So we have eat, ate, eating. Run, we have run, ran, run. We have caught, we have caught, caught, caught. Then we have pay, paid, paid. Let us look at the second type of the verb, which is the auxiliary verbs. Okay, fine. The auxiliary verbs are known as helping verbs. And the auxiliary verbs is divided into 2 parts. One, the primary auxiliary verbs and the modal auxiliary verbs. Okay, fine. The primary auxiliary verbs are of 3 types. We have the verb be, we have the verb do, and we have the verb have. Okay, in terms of forms, we have the present tense, we have the past tense, we have the past participle, and we have the present participle. Okay, fine. For the verb be has 8 forms. Okay, under the present tense, for the verb be, we have am, we have is, we have are. So, I am, he is, they are. So, am and is are singular present, while are plural present. Then we have the past tense for the verb be. We have was or were. We have past tense been. We have present participle been. Okay, fine. The next is the verb do. For the verb do, we have the present tense does or do. Does singular present, do plural present. Then for past tense, we have the verb did. Past participle done. Present participle, we have doing. Then lastly, under the primary auxiliary verb, we have the verb have. The verb have, under present tense, has or have. Okay, singular present has, plural present have. He has, they have. Okay, for the past tense, it becomes had, then past participle had, present participle having. Okay, the primary auxiliary verbs can actually act as both main verb in a sentence or also as auxiliary verb in a sentence. That's helping verb in a sentence. Okay, fine. Let's see how the primary auxiliary verb act as main verb in a sentence. Okay, fine. Let's take the first one, the verb be. Here, he is a boy. Is from the verb be. Okay, and it's acting as the main verb in the sentence. Then the next one is what? Do. He does his assignment. Does here is acting as what? A main verb in the what? In the sentence. He does his assignment. You can still say they do their assignment. Then we have. He has two sisters. Has here is acting as the main verb in this sentence. Okay, fine. The primary auxiliary verb can also act as auxiliary verb in a sentence. In other words, act as helping verb in a sentence. Let's see examples of how the primary auxiliary verb can act as auxiliary verb, which is helping verb in sentences. Fine, let's look at the verb be. He is going to school. Is here is acting as auxiliary verb, helping the main verb going. Do. He does not eat meat. Does not is acting as auxiliary verb, which is helping verb, assisting the main verb eat. They have. He has come home. Has here is acting as auxiliary verb, helping the main verb here come. Let's take the second part of the auxiliary verbs, and that is the modal auxiliary. Okay, the modal auxiliary verbs are used with the main verbs to show ability, obligation, permission. In other words, the modal auxiliary verbs cannot be used alone like the primary auxiliary verb. They must be used together with a main verb or with a lexical verb. Okay, fine. Let's see some auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliary verbs, and their uses and examples. Okay, fine. We have the verb must. It is used to show compulsion. Example, you must eat. Must eat. Must here is the auxiliary verb, while eat is the main verb. Must is the modal auxiliary verb, while eat is the main verb. Need to show necessity. Example, you need to work hard. Need to is the modal auxiliary verb, while work is the main verb. Work is the main verb. Okay, 3. Ought to. Ought to is used to show obligation. You ought to try. Ought to is the modal auxiliary verb, while the main verb here is try. Number 4, dare. Dare is used to show courage. Example, how dare you speak to me like that? Dare. Okay, fine. Then number 5, can. Can is used to show ability. Example, I can read. Can read. Okay, fine. Number 6, could. Could is used to show past ability. Example, I could run. I could run fast then. I could run fast then. Past ability. Number 7, will. Will is used to show futurity. That's future action. I will call you later. Will is the modal auxiliary verb. Then call is the main verb. Number 7, would. Would is used to show hypothetical condition. Example, I would go if I had time. Would is the modal auxiliary verb, while go is the main verb here. Okay, fine. I would go if I had time. So the condition for going is if I had time. Number 9, shall. Shall is used to show suggestion, offer, or prohibition. Example, remember figure 1. Shall we begin? Shall we begin? That's suggestion. You shall not loiter. You shall not loiter. That's prohibition. Shall not. Okay, fine. Number 10, should. Should is used to show advice or recommendation. Okay, example, you should see a doctor. Should see. Should is the modal auxiliary verb, while see is the main verb. Number 11, may. May is used to show permission. Permission. You may enter. May. You may enter. Okay. Number 12, might. Might is used to show weak possibility. Weak possibility. E.g., or example, I might go to the market. Might here is used to show weak possibility. Okay, fine. There are some of the modal auxiliary verbs that can be used in both in their past tense, present tense, and past tense. Okay, fine. We have some of them like what? Can, which is the present form. Could, the past tense. Will, the present tense. Would, the past tense. Shall, present tense. Should, past tense. May, present tense. Might, past tense. Verbs can also be classified as transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are those verbs that transfer the action of the subject to an object. In other words, there is an object to receive the action of the subject. Okay, fine. Let's see some example of transitive verb. The man killed the snake. Killed here is a transitive verb because it transferred the action to snake. So the man here is the subject, killed is the verb, snake is the object. Killed is a transitive verb. 2, the girls sang the song. Sang here is a transitive verb because it has an object, song. So the girls sang the song. The song here is the object, while sang is the verb. That is the transitive word verb. Jane wrote a letter. Wrote here is a transitive verb. Transitive verb because why? There is an object that received the action wrote. So Jane is the subject, wrote is the verb, a letter is the word object. Okay, on the other hand, intransitive verbs are those verbs that do not have an object. In other words, they may have a subject, a verb, and any other element, but there is no word object. Example, the tree fell down. Yeah, fell is an intransitive verb because it does not transfer the action to an object. 2. The baby sleeps. Sleeps is an intransitive verb because it does not transfer the action sleep to an object. The man ran fast. Ran is an intransitive verb because there is no object to receive the word action. Okay, fine. Verb can also be categorized as verbs and voice. It has to do with, it has to do with what? Active and passive voice. I've done a video on active and passive voice. Do well to watch the video. Okay, verb can also be classified as finite and non-finite verb. Similarly, I've done a video on finite and non-finite what? Verb. Then lastly, verb can be classified as Copula verbs. In other words, as linking verbs. In this scenario, they tend to what? To link the subject of the verb to the complement. In other words, there are verbs that act as Copula verbs in English grammar. They are be, seem, look, appear, feel. Example, John is tired. John here is the subject. Is here is from the verb what? Be. Tired is the complement. So is link the subject here, John, to tired. Okay. 2. She looks confused. Looks here is a linking verb or a Copula verbs that link the subject she to what? To the complement confused. They appear strange. Appear is a Copula or a linking verb that link the subject they to the complement strange. In summary, English verbs can be categorized into 6. The first is lexical or main verbs, which is subdivided into regular and irregular verbs. 2. Auxiliary verbs, which is subdivided into primary and modal auxiliary verbs. 3. Transitive and intransitive verbs. 4. Verbs and voice, which is divided into active and passive voice. 6. Finite and non-finite verbs. Then lastly, Copula or linking verbs.